Will this really be the start of the Second Civil War? It's the very first military standoff over immigration in modern American history, and this has gone way past a crisis. This could be the start of a domino effect, and to be honest, it seems like it's already started. Half of the US states are already supporting defiance against the highest court in the land, but in their opinion, they're simply using their rights and protecting their country. But the other side seems to have a bit of a complicated answer, so watch carefully. This is evolving into something bigger than just a border dispute. It's a clash of ideologies in a nation deeply divided. On one side, there is the formidable US Border Patrol and Department of Homeland Security, backed by the federal government, and on the other, there is the Lone Star State, led by Governor Greg Abbott, rallying troops from the Texas National Guard, the Texas Rangers, and the Texas State Guard. But they're really not alone if we count the verbal support from 25 other state governors, and even the Speaker of the US House of Representatives. So it is really a showdown between the states and the federal governments. And it boils down to Governor Abbott deciding to deck out sections of Texas's border with Mexico with razor wire without the approval of the federal state. Now, this could have been a simple thing, but this daring move is a very bold act, because the leaders in DC don't actually agree with the concept of putting razor wire on their borders. If you think about it, states have a right to make their own decisions, but this goes deeper than that. Let me explain. First off, the US is grappling with a fiery debate on migrants pouring in from South and Central America through the Mexican border. It's a politically hot topic that's been sizzling for quite some time. Then there's the whole tug-of-war on states' rights. Texas is flexing its muscles, asserting its authority to make border decisions independently, a constant tug in the system of governance. And to add spice to the mix, President Joe Biden is dancing on the edge by pushing back against the tougher border policies of his predecessor, Donald Trump. But this is one of the major issues, you see. This already unpopular president has been the scapegoat for many opponents for the failings of the whole nation. And from the outside, this standoff really feels like it is less about border security than a power play in the opening saga of who calls the shots. To be honest, it's a wild ride, and the stakes are higher than anything we've seen before. Texas stood its ground in the aftermath of the ruling, and the exchange between Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and Fox News host Martha McCallum painted a vivid picture. Patrick boldly declared, "We are putting up wire, Martha, everywhere we can. We will continue. We will not stop it. If they cut it, we will replace it." Governor Abbott, who had been fervently rallying against the perceived invasion, as they're calling it, from the southern border, seized the moment to reiterate his belief in the supremacy of Texas's authority over federal decisions. But wait, according to half of the mainstream media, there are assertions settled long ago in the United States, decisively during the US Civil War. Yet Abbott and other states' rights advocates persist in challenging the decisions of federal courts and agencies. This trend shows no signs of slowing down just because the Supreme Court has spoken. And the other half is claiming that Texas is in the clear by quoting articles from the Constitution and calling this flood migrant invasion. And so, we find ourselves in the current standoff in the humble town of Eagle Pass, with the Texas National Guard and US Border Patrol locking horns. The Biden administration issued an ultimatum for Texas to clear the park, which was met with a defiant response from Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who accused the president of misunderstanding federal and state laws. Governor Abbott, in a bold move, declared that Texas would defend its sovereignty, even if it meant preventing federal authorities from entering the park by force. What came as a surprise to many people was that Abbott's cause gained widespread support, with Republican state governors and the Republican Governors Association rallying behind him. Even Senator Ted Cruz endorsed Abbott's actions, framing it as a defining moment to challenge the federal government. And former President Donald Trump chimed in, asserting that Texas must be fully supported in repelling the supposed invasion. However, as expected, many political science professors and experts in university are opposed to this. And despite limited non-violent options for Biden to resolve the dispute, the constitutional conflict remains at the forefront. The world is watching what the next move is going to be. There are a few options, so let's talk about them. So here's the deal. Biden could take a swing at federalizing the Texas National Guard, as some Texas Democrats are seriously urging him to do. But let's be real, there's no guarantee the Texas National Guard will be on board with that plan. I mean, Biden's legal argument for federalization is kind of hanging by a thread and turning it into a political liability. It would not be the smartest move, to be honest. Plus, making the Texas National Guard pick a side, legally speaking, doesn't automatically mean they'll be singing Kumbaya with the federal government. Now, if Biden skips the whole federalization drama, it might just open the floodgates for other state governors. Imagine a bunch of state National Guard regiments marching into Eagle Pass, showcasing their solidarity. That would send shockwaves, don't you think? But hold on, Texas isn't just counting on its National Guard buddies. Aside from the official militia and the robust Texas State Guard with 1,600 strong, there's the legendary Texas Rangers with their 200-odd members. Abbott's cause? It's like a battle cry for militias, far-right folks, and other groups ready to stand up to the federal state. And sure, they might not be the majority in the USA, but we're talking about a substantial amount of individuals, armed to the teeth, and already capable of engaging in a modern conflict. If you look at the numbers, you'll get the whole picture. In a 2023 poll, nearly 1 in 4 Americans is ready for some political violence to save the United States. But the real question is, how do you know that you are actually protecting your country? That is one of the things that political experts say. If a group could get up and claim that there is an invasion coming and they decide to defend their land, who is to say that they are wrong? Simply put, there needs to be someone or some agency that decides on this. But that is the theoretical solution. When it comes down to the real world, the responsible office seems to be not doing its job exactly, according to a lot of people living in Texas. Because they're the ones seeing this flood of illegal immigrants coming in every day. They are the ones who know the real deal, those who are feeling the heat. Just back in December 2023, more than 10,000 people were apprehended. And for most people, that is enough reason to stand their ground against their own federal state decision. But numbers have been slowly dropping, and let's be honest, this could be for various reasons, no one's denying that. But the numbers show a big drop after a significant part of the wire was installed. In early 2024, these numbers dropped by around 6,000. All of this now comes down to February 3rd. There's a rally brewing near Eagle Pass on that day, and it could be the moment Abbott's civilian supporters decide to make their presence felt. And the next move is in the hands of the federal government. But let's cut to the chase. Is the Texas standoff about to trigger a second civil war? Well, who knows? But for the most part, we can be sure that the whole nation just wants to resolve this and focus on what is happening in global-scale geopolitics. Yet in a country known for its deep internal divisions, the Eagle Pass standoff serves as a stark reminder that American unity isn't a given. This can easily be manipulated by politicians to win the popular vote. It's like playing chess with the highest stakes as possible, and it doesn't take a genius to realize that it could turn out to be fatal. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.